Hey, gang, and welcome to another edition of Everybody Wants England. I'm going to be covering a couple of films tonight because North and South Book 2 is a long mini series. And to tell you the honest truth, I didn't go through it scene by scene by scene because I did not realize that it was 6 parts. And so there was no way I could sit there and watch the whole thing today. So I got the gist of the movie, and was also able to watch Robert Englund's small part in it. And I'm going to be talking about that. The other movie I watched was Never Too Young to Die from 1986, where if you want to see, basically, it's Gene Simmons playing a bad guy in drag. It's that's basically it. And Gene Simmons' character wants to poison the water supply. So we're going to get to that in just a little bit. Um, but I want to thank all the people that have subscribed recently because my numbers are up over 800 now. Um, and I've got less than 200 to get to 1,000. So, um, I don't want to be one of those people. And I'm not meaning to sound, uh, like I'm talking badly about people that say subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. But, I don't want to, sorry, I had to drink there. I don't want to seem like I'm trying to guilt people into subscribing or anything like that. But again, if you like the content I'm putting out, that's right, Super Batman Nerd, join us. Um, if you like the content I'm putting out, I'm not asking you to join and give money and all that stuff. Subscribing and liking the videos takes half a second out of your day. And it's no financial obligation to you to either like a video or stream or to subscribe. That costs you zero. All it does is help me get to 1,000 subscribers faster. And if you don't like the content I'm putting out, don't like and subscribe. I don't want you to do that. I would never tell anybody to do that if you didn't like the content. If you catch one of my streams or watch one of my videos and you're like, shit, this stuff's awful, I never want to come back here, then definitely don't like and don't subscribe. But if you want to show your support for the channel in a non financial way, and there's two ways you can do that. You can like and you can subscribe. That's right, it's free, as Batman says. And hey, Blissful, by the way. So uh just wanted to put that out there. Also be sure to share my channel name or channel handle with any of your friends and family that you think would be interested in the content I'm putting out. And let me also tell you this. I don't do this stuff in a vacuum. I'm not the sole person responsible for any success I've gotten, because I've had other people on here. So I would like to thank Batman because he's in here now for being on the channel. I'd like to thank Blissful for supporting the channel. I don't know if Kathy's going to be in here tonight, but I'd like to thank Kathy. She supports the channel in ways that she can. Uh, Candace for supporting the channel the way she can, and for being live on one of my streams. Chris, the same thing. Um, uh, Uncle Bill, CK and Uncle Bill, when they can. Um, you know, you don't always have to give money to show your support. And so I want to let these people know that I appreciate what they're doing. Jay, who comes on here a lot with me, joins in with a lot of watch alongs. He was just on here with me last night on Stephen's Kingdom. Um, so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to each and every one of you that has supported this channel in one way or the other, you know. And I just wanted to say a sincere, can't even talk, sincere thank you for each and every one of you that has contributed in some way to the channel. Okay. So my hat's off to you. I don't have my hat on today, but my hat's off to you. But so I wanted to, for those of you that are in here, all 5 of you that are in here right now, I wanted to run by a new idea I had as I was drinking my tea. I was having my tea that I haven't had any spearmint tea in a while, and I was like, well, by golly, I'm going to fix me some tea. And as I was sipping my tea, I got this idea that came into my head, as they sometimes do. They just seem to come out of nowhere sometimes. And I thought, why don't I? And this will not be a regular thing because I'm planning on doing this as a not a midday necessarily, but a mid morning. I guess a mid morning thing. So most of the time through the week, I work. So these won't be like regular, like weekly things that I do. So you may see it every once in a while. But the idea I had was for Terror Time Tea with Evil Dead Chick. And I'll get on here and talk a little bit about some random horror movie on here while I'm sipping some tea. My ultimate goal is to have some kind of teacup and or mug that has a horror thing to it, to be actually sipping my tea out of as I do, a discussion and or review of a horror movie. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, if you think it wouldn't work or you think it's a crappy idea, throw those things in the chat. I want to hear the good and the bad and the ugly and all of that. But that was just something I was thinking about. I may try to premiere it around 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, to see how it does. And if it goes over like a lead balloon, then it might not return or might not return for a while. But it's just something new I wanted to try out. Okay. So what do we got coming up for the rest of the week before I get to these 2 Robert Englund films? So tomorrow night, me and TJ should return with another bunch of creep show segments. So you can look forward to that. Hey, Kathy. Thursday will be another Seductive Poison, The Resurgence. I'm going to be doing another triple threat review show. I'm going to be talking about Black Christmas, The Blob, and this is the Blob remake, and Bloodbeat, which is one of the craziest horror movies, Christmas horror movies, believe it or not, that I have ever seen. So you can tune in to that for Thursday night. Friday will not be there will not be a midday with Dana and Jay. Will not be a midday with Dana and Jay, because I remembered last night as I was running through stuff that me and Steve will be at the Newport Aquarium on Friday because Steve is off, and we've already got tickets to go see sharks and other sea life. at the Newport Aquarium. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe I'll be able to give you guys and gals a report about the Newport Aquarium after I get back. But me and Jay will try to work out like an evening edition of Dana and Jay. So never fear on that. Then I've got no movie munchies this weekend because it is Easter Sunday. However, I will be having a couple of watch alongs, so never fear on that. So Saturday, March 30th will be Stir of Echo starring Kevin Bacon and also has Ileana Douglas, who was on Grace of My Heart this past Sunday's watch along. And Sunday's offering will be George Romero's Night Riders. So stay tuned for all of that upcoming. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Oh, and before we actually get started, guess what, Kathy? I got the shipping boxes in. I got a few other things in that I'm going to be using on the Booga Booga Bears. I need to pass this along to Jay because I don't see him in here tonight. But I should be able to hopefully get those shipped out by tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. Blissful, which movie do you love? Do you love Stir of Echoes? Because I love that one too. Kathy says, eek, excited, booga booga bear. uh, Super Batman Nerd, you say, I see a red door and I want to paint it black. Yeah, exactly. Stir of Echoes, that is an amazing film based on a story, I believe, by Richard Matheson. Don't hold me to that, but I believe it is. Katie says that she's been to several aquariums and loved them all. Yeah, I think this is actually going to be the first aquarium that I've actually been to in my 47 years on this planet. Uh, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. So here we go. You ready to get to these Robert Englund films? So I will hopefully be covering the final battle next week. And also be covering a film from 1987 called Infidelity. And then the week after that will be, hopefully I can find it, the Freddy Krueger special from 1988, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and one of the most hated Nightmare on Elm Street films, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. So let's go ahead and get started with North and South Book 2. Now, let me preface this by saying I remember my parents, at least them watching North and South. And as a kid, I was like a lot of kids. I was like, I don't want a history lesson. I don't want to watch this crap. So needless to say, I did not watch that. But I have a better appreciation for both North and South and North and South Book 2. Now, I've not seen North and South Book 3, which came out in 1994. I haven't seen it in any way, shape, or form. If you know anything about it and want to put it in the chat, that is cool. Now, I definitely want to go back and watch all of both North and South and North and South Book 2. Because it just seems so much more interesting to me now than it did when I was a kid. I guess I did literally feel like it was giving me a history lesson, and I didn't want that at that time. But you grow up, your tastes change, and all that. So, North and South Book 2 is a continuation of North and South, obviously. And it's based on a book by John Jakes, who actually wrote all three of the books that comprise the three different miniseries. Blissful, you say you have the book and you did enjoy the series. Yeah, I think as an adult, like I said, I have a greater appreciation for these than I did growing up. And so it has to do with the Civil War, has to do when Abraham Lincoln was president, and Hal Holbrook plays Abraham Lincoln. And he does an amazing job in this, an amazing job. So, who does Robert Englund play in here? Because we got a whole ton of recognizable names in here. You know, we got Patrick Swayze, we got Parker Stevenson, we have Jeannie Francis, Kirstie Alley. I mean, I could go on and on and on with the people that are in it. Forrest Whitaker is in this movie. There's just a ton of people that are recognizable in this. I was like, whoa, I was watching the credits and I was like, whoa, everybody's in this movie. Um, yes, I know. Parker Stevenson, I always, especially in his younger days, I thought he was very nice looking. And you get Patrick Swayze. Ooh, talk about swinging. Um, hey, Hope. Let's see. So I mean, I'm not going to go through every detail of the movie. I think, I've let you know it's about the Civil War. It's based on a book by John Jakes. It has an incredible cast. Um, and I would recommend it, highly recommend this series. If you are even the least little bit interested in historical aspects of it about the Civil War and all of that. And I got a better understanding of, because when you think of the Civil War, you just literally think of North against South, right? So when I watched this movie, I was like, oh wow, all the South wasn't these evil people that wanted to just kill everybody and keep um, African Americans as slaves, you know. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, so don't anybody get any ideas that I'm using slaves in a bad context. I'm using it in a historical context, so I don't want anybody to get bent out of shape here. So, um, so I got a better understanding of that, and also um, the the mixing of families. There were some people from the north, some people from the south, and actually, a northerner would marry a southerner, and so I really liked that dynamic to the film. I hope you want to know what my thoughts on Beetlejuice. The second Beetlejuice movie. Oh my gosh, I watched the trailer. Candace actually posted the trailer, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta watch this." Because honestly, I had my reservations, as I think many people did that love the original Beetlejuice movie. But I'm like, yeah, I gotta see this. So hope I'm really, really excited about it. You like that, Dakota? You like the Terror Time tea? Great idea and catchy name. Well, thank you, Dakota. I appreciate that. That's one vote for me to do the Terror Time tea. Um, so, who exactly does Robert Englund play in this? Robert Englund has a very super small part in this as a deserter. And what I was thinking in my mind until I watched this scene was that oh, he's going to be one of these guys that's, excuse me, like a conscientious objector during Vietnam. That's what I was thinking. But no, that didn't turn out to be. He was more of a like he comes upon Parker Stevenson and threatens him and wants his boots and stuff like that and wants his gun. And so there's a struggle and Parker Stevenson ends up having to shoot Robert Englund's character, who he doesn't really have a name. He's just referred to as deserter. And so, yeah, all of a minute, Robert Englund's actually on screen. I think he does a good job of what he's given there. Um, but he really doesn't have a lot of screen time. It was kind of like a blink and you'll miss him type of thing. But overall, the movie itself and Robert Englund's performance, I would give this 4 deadites out of 5 because I really, really envisioned myself going back and watching this again and watching it, the whole thing, starting with North and South and going to North and South Book 2. I may wait on North and South Book 3, but I was really intrigued by this. And I was like, boy, Dana, you were stupid when you were a kid. You didn't want to watch this stuff. But this is a really good movie. And Robert Englund, like I said, he did the best he could with the part he was given and the time frame he was given. And so the movie plus his performance, for me, gets 4 deadites out of 5. So moving on to Never Too Young to Die from 1986. Robert Englund plays a character named Riley. He's not a good character. I was hoping he'd be on the side of good, but he is, as Robert Englund has said before, a lot of times early in his career, he was a sidekick. So he's basically Gene Simmons' sidekick in this movie. And I watched this on YouTube. Now, beware, if you watch it on YouTube, it is listed as a broadcast edit, which everybody knows what that means, right? Some of the curse words are going to be taken out. Any, sex scenes that go very far are going to be cut. Now, Steve told me he didn't remember this film being rated R. He said he believes it was PG-13. But we have John Stamos, speaking of swooning. John Stamos is in this. Vanity's in this. Gene Simmons, like I said, if you want to see Gene Simmons playing a bad guy dressed in drag, with Robert Englund being his sidekick, and oh my gosh, Gene Simmons is batshit crazy in this movie. And like I said earlier, his whole goal is to poison the water supply and kill everybody. So, and I guess he's assuming that he's going to kill everybody in the world by poisoning the water supply. So you don't see Robert Englund until about midway through the movie, but you do see Gene Simmons. So the movie opens with Gene Simmons leading a bunch of punks, really. That's what they seem to be. Violent, They seem to be almost, maybe not quite as bad, but almost to the level of the bad guys on Savage Streets. Only just, a little bit below that level of badness. But they are led by Gene Simmons, and he has, I don't know if it's a metal fingernail or what it is, but he has one black fingernail. And and he basically can kill people with this. And you hear his people chanting the finger, the finger, the finger, And when I look this up on YouTube, I just am always curious about the reviews that people give it. And people were giving it such bad reviews. They said the plot synopsis, all they had to do was read that and they knew they didn't want to watch it. Somebody said during the first 5 minutes, they weren't interested in watching it anymore. And I'm like, I mean, I'm thinking you guys didn't even give it a chance. Yeah, some of it was hokey, but it fit that mold of those mid 80s films that it seemed like all of them were like this. You had the bad guys, you had the good guys, and some of it was a little hokey, some of it was action packed. There was always some kind of evil scheme, some kind of plot. So John Stamos is a gymnast, basically, and I believe he's going to a private school. He's either going to a private school or a college. And his dad, played by George Lazenby, I think, or I may be pronouncing it wrong. I think he was the guy that got asked to be like the first James Bond or something like that. But anyway, he plays John Stamos' dad, and he's like almost like a secret undercover agent. And his father gets killed by some of Gene Simmons' people. And so John Stamos inherits his father's farm, and when he goes there, Vanity is there. And evidently, Vanity had something going on with his dad. Evidently, his dad had, a lot of irons in the fire. He had a lot of ladies. It's not a blockbuster, just enjoy. Yes, that's exactly right, Blissful. That is exactly right. And that's what I did. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I mean, there are action scenes. John Stamos's character has a friend named Cliff who is really, really smart and creates these gadgets and stuff like that. And he really, is instrumental in helping John Stamos's character out when things, go from bad to worse. I even think Gene Simmons is great as playing this crazy, off the wall bad guy. He's just goes absolutely ape shit, over the wall, crazy. And I don't know, I was entertained. And even though Robert Englund's character of Riley was not a good character, he was still an entertaining character. He was in this more than he was in North and South Book 2. And I never saw his character get killed off, so I'm assuming his character lived. But it's just a fun little diversion, fun little time waster. It's only an hour and 36 minutes or so. Has a beautiful Vanity in it. Um, there's a love scene between her and John Stamos. And I'm not sure if it went any further, if you didn't watch the broadcast edit. But being as Steve says, he remembers it being only PG-13, perhaps it didn't show a whole lot. So, um, so overall, an enjoyable film. It kept me entertained. It kept me entertained the whole way. And because of that, and because of Robert Englund's performance, I'm also going to give this one 4 Deadites out of 5. Could it have been a little better? Yeah. But I was entertained for about an hour and 36 minutes. And I got to see Robert Englund playing a kind of nerdy professor, scientist type of guy, and being the sidekick to this ape shit, crazy Gene Simmons, with his metal fingernail or whatever it is. So I know that I wasn't not on here very long, or talking about these movies very long. I've been on here just over 30 minutes. But if anybody has any questions for me, or they want to comment on the Terror Time Tea with Evil Dead Chick, give me your thoughts on that. If you think it'll work, if you think it'll be a flop, if you think you'd be interested or not interested. Dakota was one for the Terror Time Tea. So again, I thank you, Dakota, for giving me your thoughts on that. But or if anybody has any questions about anything else or anything you want to bring up, I can probably stay on here a few more minutes. You like tea, Kathy? I do too. I really do. I like my spearmint tea quite a bit. And if I do this on a semi-regular basis, plan for me to eventually have some kind of horror teacup that I'm going to be partaking of my tea in. I'm just trying to really infuse some different ideas into the channel, different things that I think might pique people's interest a little bit, and drive traffic to the channel. But while I have everybody on here, why don't we, for those of you that didn't get to see the commercials or haven't watched them on the channel, I can show, let's just go ahead and show the Quinn's Handcrafted Chum Cocktails commercial, shall we?
Slow ahead? I can go slow ahead. Come down here and drink some of this shit. Chum cocktail.
Quinn's Handcrafted Chum Cocktails. Stock up before your next shark hunting adventure.
So, Kathy, you say I was late to the party. Ex-husband stopped by to pick up legumes. That's okay, Kathy. I know that everybody, doesn't have a whole day free just to wait for Dana to do these streams. Hey, 19 Gardens, you say, sounds great. As an Englishman, I need tea to live. There you go. Blizzle, you say, I was late and didn't hear, but I love all your ideas. Also, tea is everything. Thank you, Blissful. So it sounds like a lot of you are, leaning towards a positive thing with the tea, Terror Tea Time with Evil Dead Chick. So why don't I, while we've got, and I'll save that last commercial for the end whenever I, my outro or whatever. But let's go ahead and show that TMI commercial, shall we?
What are people saying about the TMI show?
All right.
Want to hear something juicy?
Something spicy?
Then tune in to TMI with Dana and Jay, where things get wild.
You may giggle.
You may blush.
But you won't regret it.
I haven't been the same since I watched TMI 1 with Dana and Jay. It's just, I can't deal with it. It was so cool. And I hear that there's a TMI 2. Y'all need to stay tuned out and watch some stuff with Dana. All right? Evil Dead Chick's got it going on.
the TMI show was about exposing myself. It was about stripping myself bare. It was about giving till it hurts. Ah!
Blissful says, I love this one. Well, y'all are going to get to see the Midday with Dana and Jay commercial at the end. And there will be a commercial forthcoming for the Booga Booga Bears. I just haven't got it put together yet. I do too, Kathy. I do too. And Candace was telling me today too that she really she likes all the commercials, she said. Excuse me, but she really likes the Midday with Dana and Jay one. She said, I don't know whose idea that was, which the putting together, Jay did his clip, I did mine separately, but the way that I put it together and stuff, I think helped give it a little oomph, a little punch in there. I'm not going to take full credit for it because Jay had that great joke at the beginning, which you will see when I play this at the end. 19 Gardens, you say, hey, that was a fast 30 minutes. Well, at least people don't get bored. If it even, I've had people say that even 2 hours went by fast for them, or, an hour and 30 minutes went by fast for them. So I guess that's a positive thing. I guess I could show off for anybody that might be curious some of the stuff I got in for the shop today, in particular for the Booga Booga Bears. I guess I can show y'all the stuff that's not related to packaging, shipping, all that stuff. Oh, but in case there are any of you guys and gals out there that are thinking about going into sublimation printing and t-shirt printing, these are some of the things that you might want to, invest in at some point. Now, you wouldn't have to invest in this, but what this is a heat transfer tape dispenser. And I got me a pink one. And the reason why I got this is I was watching videos the other day of a girl that was doing some sublimation t-shirt printing. And I noticed she had this really cool tape dispenser that she could put her heat transfer tape on. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And so, you can put it on there and you can, just do one piece at a time and cut it. And then you have these perfect little pieces to tape the transfer to your t-shirt and all of that. That way it keeps it straight and doesn't let it, move around, slide around, so you don't get smearing and all that stuff. So this is a Echo Mertz heat transfer tape dispenser. So, and I like that it's pink. Something else, of course, I've got heat transfer tape to go with that. I've got 2 different sizes. I got this size and then another size. Another thing you're saying, what, a lint roller? Yes, it is a lint roller and a pet hair remover. And the reason why I got this is because while watching those videos, I noticed that they would roll this over the t-shirts just to make sure there wasn't any lint, hair, anything like that on the shirts before they did the transfer. Okay, so what is this? This is butcher paper, guys and gals. And the butcher paper is, you're probably thinking, why do you have butcher paper, Dana? Well, the reason being is that, again, I watch these videos and this is going to be my first time doing sublimation printing. And I did not know that the sublimation inks, if you don't put something in between the front and the back of the shirt, guess what? The sublimation ink may bleed to the back of the shirt, and you don't want that. You don't want it bleeding all the way through the shirt, right? So this butcher paper is going to help me out in that department. So I just wanted to share some tools of the trade there with you guys and gals, in case you were, wondering about, what kind of things do you need for, sublimation printing. But I just wanted to share that with everybody. And I guess that I am going to call it a night. I have oh, thank you, Dakota. You say the commercials are fantastic. Love how much care and effort you put into your channel. Well, I tried, Dakota. I mean, I'm not trying to one up anybody else or anything, but I've been at the channel game, been in the channel game for a little bit, not as long as some people. But I'm always looking for ways to improve, ways to make it better, ways to drive more traffic to the channel, because that's what the end result is. It's not about making money necessarily, although when I do get those payouts from YouTube, it does help. But the ultimate goal is to provide entertainment for people, and I enjoy entertaining people. I don't even, for the most part, don't even notice that I'm on camera anymore. I've told people that over and over again. I was so shy when I first started doing things with YouTube, way back when I had my old channel, that I hardly ever wanted to be on camera at all. And so now I'm like, well, at least there's a face to go with the persona, or a name and a face to go together with everything. And so I think it makes it more personable for people that are watching the content and all of that. And yes, as Kathy says, please, it'll take you half a second. Please give a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this content tonight, and give other thumbs up for other content that maybe you didn't see when it was live, but you can always go back and watch them at your leisure. Okay. I guess that's all for me tonight. And I just want to remind everybody to be kind to one another, and to have a fantastic evening and a fantastic Wednesday. Go out there and blaze that trail so much that there's flames coming out after you've walked or ran through it. Okay. And seize the day and make the day your own. And remember that, not in a gross way, but in a friend way, I love each and every one of you. So go out there and make tonight and tomorrow special for not only others, but for yourself as well. And I will see everybody next time.